this dog, both these dogs. I'm on the floor, so they got all excited. um, and I said to India, "Why do you have to be up my nose?" And she literally comes closer so she can put her nose against mine. Yeah, good times. This is why I don't sit on the floor a whole lot over here, since we have small ponies. Well, a small pony and a walrus. Yeah, we're tight. I've been kind of wiped out today. I was over here later than normal. I stayed over until like almost 1. So I skipped the middle of the night or early of the morning, whatever, trip over here, since it had been it would only be like 3 hours in between. It's like, yeah, they'll be fine for a little bit longer. But then I had a real hard time moving. And if you can tell, I really feel like a hot mess today. Oh boy. And I think part of it is that I was spending so much time on the social media trying to purge people from my friends list. And also, my mom came over here with me last night, as she threatened to do the other day. It was kind of funny the other day when she mentioned it. I kind of set some boundary intentions as far as not allowing her into my energy and all that fun stuff. And then she ended up like not even going with me. Like she forgot all about her suggestion that she go. And it was all fine and well. And then for whatever reason last night, I was sitting at the table. I think I was eating something. And she said, "I think I'll go with you tonight." It's like, okay. So I'm going to say the big thing is I was in a good mood, and then I spent time with her anyway. After going through I didn't do any more like the Facebook stuff last night, but since I spent enough time on it the night or the day before, like purging the friend list and whatnot, I think it still kind of got in my system. The walrus is mooing. Yeah. The crazy thing is, I was in a great mood yesterday. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just like really wiped out. Interesting thing that hasn't happened in a long time. So I woke up to feed the dogs at like 4:30 this morning, and it was cold. It's like, that's a fluke. Normally I wake up hot and sweaty, and this is like cold. So, and I think it's probably a little bit the furnace doesn't have to work as hard since the window and the window in the back bedroom is no longer open. Since it was like, yeah, I think that's part of it, because of course my room is like closer to my current room is closer to the furnace and all that stuff. So I think now that it doesn't have to work as hard, but that might have something to do with it too. It's kind of, I don't know, like there's so much that has changed, because like I don't have the furniture at the foot of the bed that I did, because the one dresser got moved into the office, since I'm still in this transitioning phase of moving the office and the bedroom. But then the bookcase is up by the head of the bed now. And I don't know. But yeah. So I went after this cage yesterday. It was amazing. And actually, when I first saw it, I thought it was smaller than I had anticipated, and it was real easy to carry down the stairs. I mean, even though the lady helped me, because she had really steep steps, and like they were kind of slickery too. So that's always fun. Luckily, they were not a problem. There's enough snow still on them and everything, but yeah. God, I don't know if I've never, I don't know how much I've ever been to Newcastle. I feel like I've been there before, but the roads there are stupid. It's like they're all like awkward angles and stuff, and I ended up taking a wrong turn and then having to like add like 5 minutes on my trip on that turn, and just like almost missed the spot somewhere else. It's like, these roads suck. And yeah, I said that. It's like, sorry it took me so long because I got, made a wrong turn and all that. And she said, yeah, the roads around here are stupid. It's like, I will agree that they are. But yeah, luckily I'm not up there very much. And, the cage, like when I got it, we brought it down the steps and then got it to the sidewalk so I could just mainly just roll it over to the car without a problem. Had to lift it off one little curb, but like it was no big deal. And it comes apart nicely so I could fit it in where it needed to go and all that. And initially in this whole first stage of things, I thought it was smaller than I was hoping for. And on the ride home, I had that idea in mind, but then I also came to realize that, which I knew the lady, I don't know if she was smoking and I saw that, or if I just smelled it on her when she got out of the car, but I knew she was a smoker, obviously. And when I was hanging out with the bird cage in the car, you do not have to be this close, dude. Yeah, like inches. God, if I could just, I don't know if I can even get her. Hey, yeah, that one. That's what I get to see. But yeah, it's like, while I was in the car driving back home, it's like I get occasional whiffs of cigarette smoke real strong. It's like, poop. And the tray on the cage had some like staining and whatnot. So it's like, well, I have to figure this out. So I got it home. Then I looked up like how to get cigarette smoke, or like the smell of cigarettes out of plastic, right? And luckily it's not the whole thing. It's just literally the tray at the bottom. And it said something about vinegar water. So I soaked it in vinegar water in the tub for a while and made another discovery that this cage is the perfect size to just fit in my tub, so I can clean it in there and not have to take it out and power wash it and all that fun stuff. I mean, I can do that if I want to, but it'd be real easy to just throw in the shower too. Especially since right now it's like 20 degrees outside and fucking sucks. So yeah. And it was in a shed, and I don't think they cleaned it before they put it in the shed. So it's still kind of gross. So yeah. But I think since the stain did not come out with that whole process, not that it said that it would, it's like I thought about bleaching it. It's like, I don't think that's really going to do it either. I'm just going to paint it because I can. And yeah. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people like, oh, you can't do that with birds. Well, if they're not going to touch the plastic part hardly at all, then yeah, you can. It's just a matter of airing it out enough before they go into it is the big thing. And since it's cold, I'll have to make it work in the garage, painting it in there and letting it sit for a little while and then bringing it in the house so it can kind of, yeah, I guess take on the dog smell instead. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, not be that. So yeah, there were like some crazy weird synchronicities with everything yesterday too. And like I feel like that's the big thing right now is just the universe getting me excited about doing things, right? Because I was really excited to go get this cage and like, I mean, not really going to Newcastle, which it was like an hour over there, where she was located. And the fact that I started out with my Waze app, I have it set to avoid freeways, but then it's like, it's been awful slick here lately, so I don't think that's the best idea. The freeways are probably the safer ways at this point in time. So I had to switch that off while I was already moving. It's like, But then I also, since I needed to break a 20, and I would have needed anyway, she, it was listed for 75 or best offer, and I asked her if she would take 65, and she said, as long as I could get it that day, yes. It's like, all right. And then there's this whole little train of thought in my head, just because of the way I am. She said yes, but then at the same time, it's like, well, I went a little lower just to see if like there was any back and forth necessary or whatever. And it's like, I thought about giving her 70 anyway. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to go stop for food on the way. And originally I was planning on going to Wendy's because I was planning on going up the road I live off of to the interstate. And I kind of thought, even though I was going from my brother's house, I kind of thought it would backtrack me to there just so I could get on 70 and go that way. But it did not. But it's like, hey, there's a Wendy's in Greenfield, so I go that way, right? Which technically that's Greenfield too, but whatever. It's weird how the whole city limits thing or whatever works on all where the whatever. I'm tired. My brain's not making sense at the moment, and this dog is all up in my business still. So yeah. But anyway, it's like there's the one off this other road, so I'll go that way, right? So I went that way. Just to turn in the little area that Wendy's was located at and discover that it's no longer there. Like, it's recently closed because they had all their kitchen appliances in the back of, like, behind the building. So, and somebody was messing with them, so I don't know what was happening there, but it's like, yep, that's a good sign that doesn't exist anymore, and the sign was down. So it's like, okay. So I have been going back and forth between Wendy's or Firehouse, because Firehouse subs sounded really good. And yeah. So obviously, since Wendy's wasn't an option anymore, that meant I went to the other one. And she just sits here like a gargoyle. I don't know what to do with this. Like a very non-creepy, but a very intense gargoyle. What? But anyway, I am sitting on the floor though. I figured whatever my change was, that would tell me if I was just going to give her the 65 or if I was going to give her the 70. And for the sandwich I got, which is my go-to there, I didn't get a drink or anything this time. It was just the sandwich, but it still came to, I think he said $10.58. What are you doing? So I was like, all right, so that explains it. Since it's like, that breaks my 10, that's like, then I'm going with the 65, right? And, I stopped in the parking lot and ate my sandwich there. It was a damn good sandwich too, by the way. And then when I went to pull out, because like I kept seeing these synchronicities everywhere, and as I was pulling out of the parking lot for the restaurant, I was thinking, well, obviously, I'm going with the 65 then, right? And as I'm thinking this car pulls up next to me as we approach the light, and it's got 111 on the license plate. It's like, yep, confirmation, yes. Oh God, I saw 444s all over the place, 222s. Caught the video at 1:11:11 yesterday and was like talking about it as it clicked to that point. There's just a bunch of stuff that seemed to encourage that I needed to go on this little endeavor, right? My 555 as I was talking about that too. So, yeah. So I get on the interstate and start going that way, and I passed this truck that has the Twin Flames birthday on it. And it was like part of the truck number. Don't lick my sleeve. Bud is happy though. But it's very slurpy. They just had carrots. But anyway, yeah, saw the Twin Flame birthday number on this truck. And then I saw it, I think, on another license plate. And a bunch of the repeating numbers and everything. And the 717, that's also a relevant one that keeps coming back. But then, it was like that the entire way over there. And even when I got to that exit, it was exit 123. There's a car in this neighborhood that I pass just about every day. It's like 321. It's like, And the other day, there was somebody here. There was one car here that is not normally here that had his birth date on it, the license plate. And I noticed that at like 4 a.m. as I was coming in. And then there was another one, I think, as I was leaving that trip that had like 5555. It's like, that one is also different. I know there is a 999 on the way. That one's that one belongs here. I see it almost every time, but not quite. But anyway, here's this dog again. Yep. On the way back. Okay, so back in April, I had this thought that it would be kind of cool to see my birthday in the wild somewhere, like not attached to me and my birth, right? Anytime that something big was getting ready to happen, or when, yeah. And at that time, it was kind of weird because going into when I got like the 5 additional ear piercings, I'll just show you this side because that's where most of them are. 2 days before I went for the piercings, my cousin asked me if I would pick him up at this collision repair center and take him to the rental car place. They accidentally sent the car he was supposed to get to the wrong location, and he needed a ride in between. So he asked if I would do that. On the way to pick him up, I saw 7981. And then the next day, I don't remember what I was doing that day, but I saw 7982. It's like, are we getting ready? Because, of course, 83 was what I was looking for. So then on the way, don't eat. What are you eating, you little turd? She got little, is this like fake plant stems or something? Something she's not supposed to have. But anyway. Oh, and now we're really up. And here we are again. Fine day for the dogs make everything better, sweatshirt, right? Unless they're up your nose. Quit. Why can't you just sit by me? Sit by me. No? They're really aggravated because we haven't been able to go on walks, because like I took them when I was with them the last time. Stop. Just stop. Just sit there. Just sit there and behave. I will pet you. Yeah, I took them on walks when it was nice, and now they expect every time I come over here and happen to go into the bathroom, that's the cue that we're supposed to get ready to go on a walk, except for when it's like 20 or below and I'm not going to do it. And yeah, they don't understand that. Okay, this is better. Yeah, she wave at the camera, you can see. Okay, so, yeah. So the day I went to get the piercings, I saw a truck that had 7983 on the license plate. I was like, ooh, I saw it. And then I was like, confirmation, can I see it again? And then I ended up coming to, it was like I was on a road that kind of curved, but the part where I was at a stoplight that was looking at the wall of this building. Or facing the wall of the building, and I saw my birthday in reverse. It was 3897. You could please stop. That's okay. Yeah. But then I was like having all this anxiety, and then it's like, okay, maybe that's too much information, or maybe I don't need that kind of responsibility going into anything happening, because that's just giving me a lot of stress and anxiety now. Because what does it mean? And then I think that at that point in time, it was just kind of a check-in, a realization that I had posed this idea, but I wasn't entirely ready for that. But it's kind of funny because now I see it when something's happening. Even if I don't see exactly what is happening immediately by any means. Like the last time I saw it was, I don't even remember where I saw it, but I remember something came up and it came across my path, and then there was this, I had a dream with the twin flame, well, the arm of the twin flame in the dream. It was when I was on the boat. It was like a raft or a car kind of a thing, but it was like definitely on the water. And I say raft or car because there were parts of it that were like they belonged to a car. Like I fastened my seatbelt, and I have like a death grip on this arm that's like reaching through time and space. And after I fasten my seatbelt and like hold on for dear life, I look ahead and I'm like getting pulled, going with the flow down this river, right? And there's like this huge storm coming of some sort, right? And there's just like these real thick black churning clouds. And, about that time, kind of tuck my head and go. But then that ended up being the day that Gracie let it slip that I had a YouTube channel in front of my mom. And I don't think she ended up picking up on it necessarily. It's one of those things where, thank you, where I know that there have been many times in my life where I completely miss things that were like so completely obvious. And it's like, I don't know how I missed that, when I come back to it, because it's so obvious. How did I miss that? And I kind of feel like it's probably that situation where she has little bits of the insight that there's something happening, but she doesn't know exactly what it is and hasn't had the train of thought to put the pieces together, kind of a thing. Because, of course, she was, donating her brain cells to my grandfather to keep him alive there for a while. Oh, I know what it was. This lady that I got this bird cage off of yesterday. Okay, so one of the first things I do when I either have somebody ask me about something I'm selling or, hey, what are you doing? pulled a coat on the floor. We're not going. Even if you ask real nice and lick me in the ear. Anyway, she had a post and it said something about, Dad, never did I think I would have to learn to live without you, kind of a thing. It's like, that is exactly this whole thing with my family, right? That, my grandpa died and they don't know how to act or what to do now. It's like, he was the father in a ideal situation. He would die off before all the kids, right? And yet it just seems to be some kind of crisis because it's gone anyway. But whatever. Anyway, the whole point was I look at the profile enough to make sure it's an actual human and not just a scammer of some sort. And dude, that's funky. This is her resting face. The eye. Now she's looking at me. And then the whistle whine as she's snoring. Whatever. But yeah, that was like the post I saw on her thing. It's like, all right. But it was just like, isn't that the way things are supposed to happen in like an ideal situation? The parents go before the kids, but not like when they're real young or anything. Like my mom's in her 60s, so that's the time, right? And I don't know how old this lady was. I'm gonna say I feel like she was older than me, but I won't like commit to that or anything. Even then, I'm still 41, so whatever. I know some of these videos I've done, it's like I'm talking about the dogs, you can hear them jingle a lot, and then I don't show how close they are the whole time. But here we are. Yeah. But anyway, okay, so yeah, the numbers thing. 717 at the top as I was talking that. So yeah. Oh, and I passed this, or I was next to this car, and I thought the license plate, like as I kind of like, where it was, I couldn't see it real well as far as the numbers. So it looked like 179, and of course Tyler died on 719, so 719 is a number that I see a lot. Well, I thought it was 179, but then as it started moving forward, I realized it was 719. It's like, okay. So I thought I saw it wrong, and then I was like, but it's still the same digits, so, and then it ended up being right. And yeah, it's just like the whole way there and back, there was a bunch of this kind of crazy stuff too, right? And, the other thing, the last time I saw my birthday, that was where I ended up starting on that tangent, I think. Also, I have no idea what's happening with this hair today. I feel like this part of my bangs is kind of smushed down more. I don't know if I just slept on my head. I don't know what happened, but it feels like I probably slept on that side more, and now it's just stuck on my head. But anyway, I had this dream where this arm's reaching through time and space, and I'm like bracing myself to go into the storm, right? Or to go into the unknown, I guess, because I know what's coming with that. And then the next thing that kind of came up was I got this real strong feeling that it was time to get back on Instagram for a minute, right? And then I do, and then I find that something I commented on a band page was posted on like Instagram on their pages in a few spots. There's my picture and there's my comment. And it's like, okay, cool. So my face is getting around, I guess, which was kind of a little weird to think about. And so I've talked about this one many times as well on video 123 that I did on January 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4, was the one where I sent the intention of I'm ready, and I talked about it later how in my head I said like the twin flame's name and then I'm ready, but it's like I couldn't do it on the video, but I've since talked about them in the videos anyway, so it's like whatever. But yeah, it was still one of those things. It's like all at once, these things seem to be converging. And it's like, oh, what am I getting into? So that was the beginning of January. And there's been a bunch of stuff that's kind of been going on since then, including my bear picture won the contest. And then my parents took the opportunity to try to bring my day down to shit again within 30 minutes of finding out that I won this thing. And I think that is why my mom wanted to come over here with me yesterday, because I went on this little trip by myself, did not say anything. I told her that I had found a couple cages that I was talking to people about or trying to find out more information about. And that was where I left it. And then when my aunt paid me the other night, I got it solidified to go up after the one. Well, it came together between the 2 days. And then I got the cage, right? So I was in a good mood because I've seen all these like crazy synchronicities too. And I'm not even finished with those yet, but another tangent. So yeah. So I think since I was in a good mood last night, she saw it as the opportunity of, this is when I need to come spend time with my daughter. And yeah. Now, of course, she said she hadn't checked in with her granddogs or gotten to see her granddogs in a while, so she needed to pet them on the head. It was always aggravating when she comes in. They get excited to see her, which is to be expected. But that's when we have the accidents. So like when I come here, like I get them out of their crates and go straight to the back door, and they follow me over there. I put them on their chains and send them out. So they potty outside. And then of course grandma's here, so we had to go see grandma first, and then we couldn't make it to the back door first. It's like if she's coming with me again in the next week, I'm gonna make her stay out in the garage until I get them put on the chains, because that is ridiculous. And then there's that whole bit where she starts wondering about, she got Gracie a picture frame for a picture of her and Jen's mom after she died, so she could have something on her wall to remember, time when she was with Grammy or whatever. And she's sitting down here at the table with me, and like she's at the other end of it, and she said, I am gonna go see if I can find that. And I said, just because you got it for her and said for the room doesn't mean it necessarily ended up there. Because this is a big house. So there's many places it could have ended up at. She was like, well, that's true. But she still went up and was like, yep, that's why she really wanted to go up there. So she could kind of start nosing through stuff and see how ungrateful they are, and that the $90 blanket is still in the dog crate and blah, blah, blah. It's like, stop just buying things because you have this need to be the one to pick the thing for the people you're getting the gift for. It's like, you don't ask. If you asked if it was something like this would be something they would use, they'd like, okay, another blanket. Do you need another blanket? They'd probably say, well, we have several. Not really. And I've kind of got a weird collection of them going at the moment too. It's like, okay, the one I loved, my aunt got me this Nightmare Before Christmas blanket, and it's got like all the characters on it. It's real soft, real big. It's good. And the next year, she got me this one. She found some company that will put. They don't do pictures of your actual dogs, but they do. They have like different breeds or different images for the different breed selections. So, it's a picture of a girl sleeping, and of course she's got like red-brown hair. I mean, my hair's brown, but I was dyeing it red there for a while, and of course it doesn't have the fun colors. But then it's got my name on it, and then it has the Kelpie picture, and of course Ziva's standard Kelpie coloring. So like the brown eyebrows and the brown insides of the ears and the white on the chest and all this. It's like, they have one that looks just like her. So she got that on the blanket, and then there's one of Taz that's not quite, but still somewhat close. It's got a little bit of black on the face, but not as much as he does. And he's got a lot more black on his body too, than that does, but it's fine. The snag is always, they don't have one that looks like Gidget. But of course, they're looking for Australian Shepherd images, and the one they had was like gray with black spots, but it had her folded ears, I guess you can call it. So it's that one, but it's like, and it's got everybody's names on it. It's like, okay, so this is nice until like they start, until we get a whole different pack, and then it's like, then what? It's like theoretically at some point in there it could just become a dog blanket, I guess. Currently it is a TV cover. There was a whole weird thing on that too. So when I covered the TV the first time, I didn't used to. And one morning, as I was waking up, and it's still like completely dark in this room, and I hear this guy's voice, and it just says, "Hey." And it was enough to wake me up. I was just like, it's like, I know that's not here and that like somebody's not actually with me, but it freaked me out. And then it's like, for whatever reason, I just pinned it to the TV and blamed the TV for it. Like somehow, I know it wasn't anything with the TV, but I think it was probably that, the twin flame telepathy piece. And I've talked about on here before, it's like, I think if you're on the right frequency with people, that telepathy is a real thing. Like you can hear these other things. I think that's, a lot of like the psychic gifts and stuff. I think it's really just somebody who's on the same frequency that's already had this experience and can, if you're thinking about it, then it's just like comes across, because it goes to that everything is one thing, right? Everything is a piece of the divine puzzle, right? So if you're on the same frequency as somebody and you have a question and then it gets answered like that or whatever, I think it's a thing. And, because I've had conversations like that, like I will go on a walk out in nature and this one I cannot confirm until I meet him. But I had this question one day of what his middle name was, and it literally, the one that started like jumping out like at me off of all these stones that would catch my eye was Robert. And it's like, okay. And there's a few other reasons why that's kind of I'm inclined to say that's definitely the case, even though that's especially something I can't prove at the time. But like, what that would mean his initials are, that's something that would be following me all around, right? And yeah. And I've talked about how after I got the name insight, I had this day where it's like, okay, but is that real? I said, okay, if that is the case, I want to see his initials, which would be this, somewhere where it jumps out and is obviously for me, and that is my confirmation. And it's like so obviously for me that I can't deny it, right? And then I was driving down the road and like I was going past this like year-round camping place that isn't too far from where we live. And my eyes immediately go to a camper that has this name on it that has the initials right in the middle. And it's also like the type of truck my ex drove had it right in the middle, and then the car that he got after that also had it in the middle. So it's like, yeah, I'm inclined to feel like that's a whole lot of stuff saying, yeah, that's it. Like there's too many coincidences now. And now that I'm seeing this as, okay, like the birth date, like first off, I don't say it when I see it, but I almost always catch it when his birthday pops up on the timer. Whatever the first number is, it's like the next numbers. It's always right there. And it's like, I don't necessarily see it every time. I did when I was actually in the middle of talking about that, though. But since I haven't talked about his birthday on here, don't dig the carpet. And that one's got up and, now she's all staticky, so she's zapping me. But yeah, like that's another one. So anyway, my synchronicities yesterday, going back to my birthday. Hey, that's enough. It's enough. Just lay there. I'm driving down the road behind this semi, and it says McLeod Express, I think. And I was like, is that my birthday? And the phone number. And, I open up my camera app and like try to get it lined up just right, real quick, because there's nobody too close around me, but I was trying to do it quick before another car came up next to me and before I hit something or whatever, just so I could refer back to it. So I got a picture of it, and then as I got a little closer, it was my birthday right in the middle of this truck phone number. 79-83. And I got a picture of it. And then, like, I kid you not, I see it. I realize that is what it is. I get the picture and put my phone down. Well, okay, I got the picture before I verified by getting close enough to see it. And then this red truck, just a pickup truck, passes me on the right, and it's got his birth date on it again. It's like, I was like, oh, so now they're like dancing together. It's like they're getting close, right? So, yeah. And like I said, I saw it multiple times on the way over there, and whether it was the digits in order or reverse order, like I was seeing it both ways. And that's one thing that I've realized. It's like that I see them that way a lot, and it's like, however, as long as you're paying attention, they'll make it stand out. And it was exactly the thing. So yeah, I see my birthday, and then I see his go driving past. And then, God, I think there was some more 222s and 444s in there, and it's just like all over the place stuff. Oh, when I got in the car to leave my brother's house yesterday and go pick up this bird cage, one of the songs on the radio, like it was early in the song. It was one of the songs that one of his bands does. It's like, okay. So like that immediately, it's like, there's something here. And I think a big part of what that is kind of a pat on the back for me, following this line of things that I want to do all at once. Like, okay, so the room switch has been a big thing. And obviously that I keep talking about all these steps that have to happen before I can get to having the full switch around, which this whole situation is unlike anything I've had happen before, because this is the first time I'm going slowly about making all the shifts. And it's like, okay, so there's so much cleaning and purging and all this stuff that has to happen along the way. I had to get another bird cage before I was really motivated to clean that cage, as well as needs to be cleaned so I can post it to sell it. But I didn't want to have to put the birds back in it before I clean it. Or after I clean it. So yeah, but it's like just like this series of things that are falling in line, and it's like, I want to do that. So then I just follow what I want to do, and then it like the path is lining up in front of me. And I think that's the big thing that the universe is showing me. It's like, follow what you want, follow what you love, follow the things that make you happy in the moment, and that it'll lead you where you're meant to be, right? But it's a matter of learning to trust that. So just seeing all these synchronicities lining up. And that was the other thing. When I got my piercings, when I was on the way back home, my moon is backwards there. When I was on the way back home from the piercing place, no, okay. Excuse me. When I got the piercings, it was all fine and dandy and just was what it was. It was this one, the turquoise, and I don't remember. I don't remember if that's the conch or the tragus. Especially not with my brain all tired. But yeah, that one. I was in the shower one day and actually, yeah, I was in the shower and I was cleaning it and I was like, where'd the back of it go? It wasn't there. And like everything I felt on it just felt like it was just a straight post and not anything on it to keep it from going anywhere. And when I was looking in the mirror, the best I could get, because I had my I had the two side mirrors angled so I could kind of see the reflection of one into the other one. And of course, as I'm talking about that, I'm thinking of, I had this guy popped up on my Instagram thing the other day, and he was just like dancing with the mirrors and doing this whole thing. So that was the first thing that popped into my head. Anyway, it's completely irrelevant, but it was just something that made me laugh in the moment. Yeah. So I didn't see anything on it. It literally looked like a post with a little, the little thing where you like twist something onto it. It looked like it had that threading. So I thought I lost the back somewhere, and I was freaking out because, okay, I got 5 piercings at once. So, of course, that with the jewelry, and it adds up that way. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to lose it. I just paid to get that done and, paid for the jewelry and all that. And yeah, it's like, I didn't want to lose it. So I was freaking out because I couldn't find the back of it. And I even showed it to my mom, and she saw the same thing that I did with the threading that was like there, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh no. So I called the piercing place, or no, I emailed them, I think, because they were really good about getting back to me. And they said they had an opening, or somebody fell off the schedule, so if I could be up there at that time, they would help me out. So this is like a 45-minute drive over to this piercing place. And I get over there and sign the paperwork and all that stuff. And I go back with the girl, and she's looking at it, and she's like, it's still there. And she said, basically, the kind that they use, if the back of it comes off, then you've already lost the thing anyway, because it's, it's, okay, they're all this way. I'm not going to show you the one up my nose. Okay, so there's that, but then it's got like this little flat piece on it right there. Yeah, apparently they're all like that, and for whatever reason, that was not what I saw on that one. And honestly, it didn't even occur to me to check the other piercings and see what kind of backs they had, because I could have figured that out if I would have seen it then. But it's like, whatever reason, that wasn't how I saw it at all. And so I was panicking, and I kept going over there, and I kept pushing this through, making sure it wasn't going to pop out on me so I didn't lose it. And then I get there, and nope, it's there. She even took a picture of it and showed me. It's like, huh. And I was like, my mom even saw the same thing I did. And we got, on the way back home, stop. I don't need you up my nose. Yeah. On the way back home, I was thinking, and I was seeing numbers everywhere. The 37s, the 515, which is my great grandma, 719, the twin flame birthday, just all this shit everywhere. And it was just like one after the other, and then the repeating numbers, the 4s, the 2s, the 8s, the whatever. As I was thinking, So basically, the universe can make me see whatever it wants me to see to get me where I need to go. It's like everything was confirming that. It's like, okay, I get it. Okay, so, it's just so follow the things that I feel motivated to pursue, I guess, and then see what happens, because that's where the magic comes in, right? And that's where the universe can kind of get you lined up with the things you're meant to be lined up with. But yeah, like, okay, so I see my birthday on this truck, and then I see the Twin Flames birthday on the license plate of the pickup truck that goes past as soon as I see my birthday, or as soon as I verify that it is my birthday on this truck. It's like, huh, okay, gotcha. I end up going around the semi and driving down the road, and of course we go through this construction area, and that truck's way behind me. But as I get closer to my exit, I come across another of those exact same trucks with my birthday and the phone number. And I was like, I know that's a different one, because I know I saw the other one back there and I passed that one. And then, as if to give me a confirmation, the other truck, because we were in a construction area and had to slow down and everything, ended up passing this other semi. So there they are with the two McLeod Express things with my birthday right in the phone number. It's like, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, and I saw 7982 on the way to Newcastle. It's like, I was like, is this like are we leading me up to like what's coming again? And it's like, well, kind of. So then I see it in multiple places. It's like, all right, and then I would watch this tarot reading this morning, Silverleaf Tarot. And one of the numbers that caught our attention on the timer was 515. And as I said that, I introduced the thought, there's 5151 at the top of my timer. So yeah. They're everywhere. Of course, 515 being my great grandma, but also 51 was my dog Chance. 15 is Maggie and Molly, because yes, they're often stacked that way. Oh, another friend that I had that died several years ago. He was in the drumline stuff. Also, he was in my section, but I wasn't as close to him as Tyler or whatever, but his when I was looking through the profiles or the friends things the other day, I was like, wait, when did he die? What was his birthday? His birthday was March 1, I think, and that is also the day that my great grandma died. So I have to confirm that, because I think there were some like weird things, like I think my great grandma died on 3/1, and maybe my great grandpa died on 3/3, because he died and I think they buried him the week of his birthday. I won't swear to that completely, but it's something weird like that. But then my grandma or my great grandma ended up passing away like the same time period. So it was like all these numbers that are kind of like dancing in together. And it's like, okay, there's so much going on here. And so for a while, when I saw 31s, I was thinking my great grandma for like when she died. And then 3/3 got put in there. And then that might be the day that my great grandpa died. I don't know. The whole thing just, it all runs together. But then even that, my grandfather that passed away back in December, he died on 12/3, 1, 2, 3. And one of the big things with that is, that's one of those steps in the progression, right? You just keep following the steps. And then there's the countdowns. And, like 3, 2, 1 on the one car, 987, all those. But it's like they're everywhere. And 429, as I was talking about that, and that's Tyler. So yeah, it's literally just all this stuff is just weaving together. And I feel way more awake now that I'm on this conversation. Like I woke up today and it's like, damn, I am not ready to be awake. It's like, I don't know what my deal is, but I am just tired. And it's like, ooh, stop saying that shit because, law of attraction says if whatever you are declaring, you're going to see more of that. So if you want to say you're tired, then you're going to be a lot more tired. So got to stop doing that. So that's been kind of something I've been trying to do while I've been over here today, is because that I'm tired just kept coming to mind. It's like, no, we are not saying that. So yeah, I'd say it's the disheveled hot mess thing today. Yeah, I mean, I got that covered, but I had thought about not even putting makeup on or whatever today, and it's like, nope. I see it goes to that point of doing the thing even when you don't feel like doing the thing. You got to do it out of discipline and not feeling, because you're not always going to feel like doing it. But consistency is key. See, and now I'm feeling like, okay, I wrote down all these cards I pulled last night. Now I'm feeling like 5555. So I'm feeling like I should just read them, because I wrote them down and I have it with me here and I thought about it, and they're going to follow me. But that's all right. Yeah, whatever. Hold on. Okay. So honestly, in the time it took me to go out there and to get the journal, I don't remember exactly why I started on talking about it. But I think all the cards were just so relevant yesterday, and like I pulled them after my bird cage run, and it's like, hey, relevant all over the place. And it was from the Sacred Medicine Oracle, Asha Frost. Stop. Just. Well, okay, anyway, the first one I got was drum medicine, which is regulation. And like the whole point of that one's talking about balance, right? So the medicine of the drum is here to steady ground and rewire your nervous system so you may find balance once again. This time in your life is calling for balance, as you have been pushing yourself past your capacity in all ways. The medicine of the drum comes forward for you to bring you back to your most natural rhythm. Regulation is key to your wellness. You are worthy of healing. Don't mess up my journal. Just laying on my pages with she's got her head on my leg. She doesn't now that I moved it. That I feel like is kind of my start point today, and how I just feel like, I felt wiped and I didn't need to kind of find the little happy balance. I think part of it is, like I said, I've spent so much time going through stuff on social media that it kind of just like latches onto your energy anyway. But it felt really good to get so many of those off. I changed my picture last night, and then it was like, I went back into it one other time after that, and I don't remember why. But there's like, it cut back on like the amount of likes for the picture, and it's like, ooh, it's like, well, if you get rid of half your friends, then it'll do that. But then there's like some people, like one lady, I had unfriended her on there. She was somebody that I met through not the hospital. It was another internship that I had to do for the seminary. And it was like a youth ministry thing. So there were a bunch of people that I met through this church that I was connected to. And like a bunch of them, it's like, I really liked that church and I really loved all the people there. But at the same time, it's like, we don't talk. It's like, I don't really know if, I don't know. If I should leave them or not, but then it was just like kind of that, it goes back to that one, there was another card I pulled, I think yesterday or day before yesterday. I was talking about the purification one that I talked about on here. That was from the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. And I'm glad I didn't say who that was by on yesterday's video, because I definitely would have gotten it wrong. But it's also tweakable. I've tweaked things on here before when I've misspoke. But yeah, it is possible. But yeah, like this one lady, like I deleted her off, and then she ends up liking my picture, and it comes back and says add friend, and it's like, I feel like this is just Facebook trying to be sneaky. And, like I don't know. I think that's how I got there. Okay. Basically, one of the cards was talking about trust yourself if you're doing the things. Just take it one step at a time. Keep going. Your path is your path. And, basically what you want and what you feel led to is right for you. So follow that, right? And yeah. And so it's like, since I deleted them, I thought it's like, well, okay, so maybe she's paying more attention than I thought, but it's like she still doesn't engage with me otherwise. So it's like, that goes back to that point of just having people be able to check in on your stuff. That's just kind of, it still pulls at your energy, right? So it's like, I like her. I have nothing against her as a person. I don't remember a whole lot about her. Of course, that TBI thing kind of, some things are scrambled. I'll admit that. But like some of it's just like, I don't really remember much about her. I know I liked her family a lot. And one of her granddaughters had cancer for a while. I remember that was a thing that they were having to go through treatment for back then and all that. And I think she is since good. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my cards. So, since I am currently, and I talked yesterday about that kind of transition phase with can't go back into the past because I've changed so much anyway, but at the same time, where I'm meant to be at isn't completely, like the path hasn't completely opened up yet either. So then I got the Dark Spirit Moon card, which is the Void, and it says, sink into the void and allow the medicine in this experience to reveal itself to you. Resist the urge to leap out of this phase and simply be in it. Remember that it is in times of discomfort and chaos that we grow deeply. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be and allow the truth of this time to give you clarity. The stars cannot be seen without the beauty of the dark, and they shine especially bright on a moonlit night, or on a moonless night. Darkness is neither good nor bad and often brings about the deepest gifts. Hold the lessons that rise from this time with tenderness. Raw emotions and feelings are a call for healing. This is a reminder that you are worthy of taking space and time. As we expand our capacity to feel into the full spectrum of life from the darkest night to the brightest day, we see that we are already whole. Move through this phase so that the next cycle can enter as the moon begins to wax. So, yeah, I'm going to just sit with that not knowing and, just going along with what I feel like I'm supposed to do. And I see the next one's especially relevant too. So the next one was Sacred Medicine Oracle, Calling. And it says, the call to step into your role as a healer, visionary, and seer in this world is becoming louder and more insistent. You have inherited ancestral gifts, lived a lifetime of teachings, and received wisdom from many guides. You are currently walking through a fire of initiation to shake up self-doubt and fear of visibility. It is no small feat to share the fullness of who you are with the world, and the time has come to do so. If you choose not to listen, the call will only increase in volume. If it has never felt safe to you to share your sacred medicine with the world, be kind to yourself. It can take a lot of courage and love to open up about vulnerable feelings. You're invited to hold compassion for fear or insecurity. Please note that this is a normal part of expansion, and the only way to hone your craft is with practice. You are a medicine keeper, and the ways you can share with the world are abundant. Your gifts are meant to be put into action in tangible ways. Now, all you need to do is show up authentically and know that your presence is so much more than enough. I love reading. It makes my context go blurry. Yeah. So what was it that I saw on that one? Because I was reading it or something. Oh, that if it has never felt safe for you to share your sacred medicine with the world, be kind to yourself. Can take a lot of courage and love to open up about vulnerable feelings. It's like, that's like this whole YouTube thing for me has been. And I've spent a lot of time talking about like the general sense of not being safe to do this kind of things because of like my family and the conditioning that I was raised with. So yeah. And then also, what was it? That card was a 9 card, right? So I ended with 3 cards so I had the 9 card, and then I had the 54 card, which you had 5 and 4, there's another 9, and then the last one was an 18, so there's another 9. It's just like 999 at the end of this little reading I did for myself for the energies for yesterday. So this is the one that like really made me realize as I was writing it down in my weekly or daily tarot journal thing, even though I use oracle cards instead of the tarot. This is the one that was like, I have to write that down in the journal. I need to remember these. So because I've been talking about all this motivation, this move to rearrange things in my space, and I see 5-4 at the top going along with this 5-4 card. Yeah. Okay, so this was sacred space support. Creating space, altars, and ceremonial containers for your healing and visioning is what you are called to do at this time. When we intentionally set up a sacred space, we amplify the potential of healing that can flow through. Design a specific space that is special just for you to pray with, dream with, and journey with. You might be drawn to adorn your space with sacred objects or medicines such as feathers, crystals, candles, ancestral pictures, animal spirits, or plants. Trust your wisdom as you choose what is needed. Trust your wisdom as you choose what is needed. As you create your space, blow your intention for the space into each object before placing them down. Your container will hold the potent medicine that will evolve with you. Remember that there is an energetic sacred space that exists around your body too. So feed it with loving thoughts, words, and intentions, and it will support you in all ways you need. So not being tired. Commit to your spiritual practice. Perhaps it's a meditation practice that is calling to you, or communing with nature on a daily walk. Whatever you choose, it's the consistency that is key for your success. That makes me really frustrated that I can't skate right now too, or walk the dogs because it's so damn cold. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out ways to make it happen. I think that's part of the purpose of doing this daily, because some of them are kind of lame and I don't really talk about anything useful. And then others, it's like, ooh, that makes a whole lot of sense for me now. I'm getting all this clarity just from doing the video, even though I didn't feel like doing the video to begin with or whatever. And see, I was feeling all tired when I went into this and I wasn't sure how I was starting, and now I feel all bubbly again. So I think that's kind of the purpose too. It's releasing the density and, leaning back into the divine and like just this path that I'm on, and how like everything is fitting together. Like I'm literally in the process of switching my spaces and, reorganizing and purging stuff. And then I pull this card and it's like, yes, keep going, do all those things. And I feel like that's a big part of, I think I pulled this card to be more mindful as I'm going through this process as well, of what I am meant to be doing on that end. And just being better with intention setting, right? Okay, so then creation story, pathway. It says, before you arrived here on this planet, you were a vision, a spark of creation. This card comes forward to ask you to remember your divinity. In our traditional ways, we speak of our original instructions. What was the vision that Creator had for us? Can you hear the whispers? Can you remember the instructions that were planted in your soul? Sometimes in life, we compare ourselves to others. We feel less than, or feel that we aren't quite measuring up in some way. We feel that we need to change who we are at the core. Creator makes no mistakes. Your story is yours alone. It is unique and cannot be compared to others, or to another's journey. If you find yourself wishing that your path was different, this card is here to pull you back to your original instructions. Your path is exactly as it needs to be. You are no less or no greater than anyone else that walks upon this earth. Your divine nature is meant to be expressed in the unique way that calls to you. This medicine brings you back to your own truth, your own way, your own story. There can be no comparisons, as there is nobody else who is quite like you upon this earth at this time. It's time to root back into your original instructions and intentionally claim your path. I feel like that's all, like everything weaving together, like from the YouTube stuff and talking my way through like the healing that I've been doing, the stories that I've had to tell, and releasing the densities that I was so bound into. And then like literally, like I feel here lately, like there's kind of an antsiness about everything that's going on. It's like I feel like it's right on the verge of something big happening, and I don't. There's nothing I can do one way or another because I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what area it's coming from first. I feel like, and I've gotten plenty of these messages along the way, but I feel like once it starts opening up and like the blessings start flowing, like I feel like it's not going to stop, and it's just going to be, okay, like there's another card that I think is from the Sacred Destiny deck that I already mentioned that talks about monitoring your progress, because too much at once can be overwhelming. That kind of 11 again. Yeah, because too much at one time can be overwhelming. And I feel like, everything that's been going, like yesterday, and it's like just seeing how the synchronicities were flowing in on this trip, where literally the only thing I did was follow this whim of getting a smaller bird cage so I can get ready to sell this other one and get ready to shift more in my space. But it's like the whole thing right now is decluttering, whether that's people or stuff. And God knows I got enough things that I can purge off, and that's a big part of this, right? So, yeah. And, okay, so I've talked about how every now and then it's like I feel like the energy pushing back from like my parents and like their stuff in my space. It's like I feel like to a certain extent there's only so much of my stuff that I can get to like clearing out at a time, because it's like theirs keeps trying to come in and take over again, right? I don't know what they just jumped at. I think they thought they heard something, and now she came for some reassurance because I think she scared herself. Mind you, this is also the room that Grammy died, so maybe she's here with us in spirit. But yeah. And they've talked about how she was talking to people that, they couldn't see, and she was doing that at the old house too. But just like a bunch of stuff with that. And here's the other one. Well, kind of. She's stretching now. There. But yeah, like the energy, like, it's like I try to clear my space out, but then I get a snag because then it feels like their energy is trying to invade and take over my space and all that stuff. It's like, I feel like there's a lot of that going on with the shifting process, right? So I have my laundry in the bathroom. There's not enough bathroom for the laundry at this point, because as I'm cleaning stuff, which is, I don't want to do the laundry until I have everything together, and it's not like I'm not finding dog hair covered socks on the floor in the, under the bed or whatever. And it's like, I want to make sure I have it all when I go to clean it. But then at the same time, it's just kind of like, it's just driving me nuts because it's shrinking my space down in the bathroom I have to get ready of a morning. And especially when all three dogs want to come in there with me now. And there is a certain amount of that they're doing now. See, since that puppy was there before, Gidget was the only one. Like, she'll fuss at the door if I lock her out. Not every time, but if I'm getting ready for bed or getting ready in the morning, she will. Yeah, and then that's a whole thing I gotta contend with while the puppy was there, Ziva started coming in with me. And Taz wants to be in there of a night when I'm getting ready for bed. But here lately, like last night, normally when Gidget and Taz come in, Ziva will go and lay down on her bed and she just stays in bed. And last night I left the door cracked. I've been trying to do that more for her because she'll push on it, but she won't whine like Gidget will if she wants in. So, yeah, so I left it open and like she pushed her way in, and of course Taz is laying on the inside of the door, and I had to hold it so she could get in. But yeah, it's like I think they're feeling that too, like just that the energy from my parents as well, trying to impose back in on my space. Like they know things are changing and that at some level they've lost me. So every chance they can get, they're trying to pull me back in. So then when I wasn't happy about the birdcage yesterday and, that whole thing, all the things piecing together, and then my mom wants to spend time with me because she's trying to latch on to that energy again. And since we exist to keep her going the way she did for my grandfather by basically throwing her life away to appease his situation or whatever. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore, and I feel like energetically they kind of know that, and that's why there's this weird dynamic between the energies in the house. And I'm really hoping Buttercup just went under my leg to go to the other spot. And this one's back in my face. So, yeah. But, what was I saying? You distracted me. Now what? Hey, quit that. You're poking me in the boob now. Hey, stop. That's enough. Nose to nose. Yeah, but I feel like the dogs are feeling that a lot lately too. And that's probably, especially since I'm over here right now, and I'll be here for a couple hours, and then I've been here over an hour anyway, because I've been dealing with them. I think I was here a half hour or so before I did the video. So a couple hours anyway. But then we're not walking because it's been a whole ordeal and it's been freaking cold as hell. If you believe in hell, then it shouldn't be cold, right? But whatever. Yeah. That wasn't relevant. That was just a random thought. As I'm holding this foot here. But yeah, I feel like since these guys are also kind of pulling on my energy since I'm over here and, we have this nonstop stuff going on, I feel like mine also feel that when I get back home, and then, they're like, their noses are stuck on my clothes because they know where I've been and all that. Yeah. God. That I heard too. Anyway, this little nose thing is kind of weird. Her little zip. What you put it in my face is gonna happen. But my parents are looking at a puppy. I really want out of there before they bring a puppy in that house. I want no part of having to be responsible for training their new dog. And I think, because I think that was partly why my ex ended up bringing the 2 husky puppies in when I was getting ready to leave Alabama. It's like that last week, he shows up with 2 husky puppies, and it's like, why? Where? Why are they here? I'm leaving, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and it was literally just because he was trying to get me stuck back in the situation. So, you like animals? You like taking care of animals? Here, let me bring you more animals to feel obligated to take care of. It did not work in that case. And within a couple days after he realized that, he did get to pay for the vet bills and getting them dewormed and all that fun stuff. It's like, well, if they're going to be here, if they're going to be around my dogs, they're going to have this stuff handled. Anyway, my dogs were on all their shots and everything, so it's like, but I didn't want to try to bring anything in that way, and it just pissed me off. But it was literally just an attempt to try to keep me from being able to do anything else, like from disconnecting, right? And I realized that was a big thing for him. Basically, the last couple of years I was there, we ended up with like this ridiculous collection of animals, and it was my job to take care of them because he was afraid I would leave otherwise. And animals are something I care about, so give me something to have to do so I can't leave the house. And I didn't want to be a zookeeper. So, I got to a point where it's like, I really burn out. It's like, I don't want to do this. And, when I left, I had all the birds, and the 3 dogs. I hated leaving the cat behind, but, at the time I only had 1 room and we had 5 dogs and a dog door. And I had like 11 birds. It's like, that's a lot of birds in 1 room, and we wouldn't be able to have the cat running loose all the time because there's the dog door. So it's like, there's this whole ordeal of it just wouldn't have worked. So I think when I think about her, it's just like I had to leave her there for his kid, because his kid had just gotten into that situation. I was leaving and taking the dogs, and he needed something else there. So hopefully all went well with that, but I'm not going to try to entertain anything otherwise. So just cat did fine. That's where my thought is on that end, because I don't want to go beyond that. Yeah. And now there's, he's been remarried, I think. He wasn't even divorced a whole year before he was married again. So, and that might have been the way who was the one before that too. So I think I knew his divorce was like fresh when we met, but I don't remember how fresh. I think it might have been. It was within a year, I think. So of course it was. However, I think I wanted to say their divorce was finalized in January, and then we started seeing each other in March, and we're married in November. At the end of November, but still November. But the next one, it's like we were divorced at the end of July, and I think, and it was one of those. I think my cousin happened to look at his profile and then said, like, in April, it looked like they had a wedding ceremony or something. It's like, dude, I don't care. Not my problem. Stop looking at it. Don't care. And my mom and my grandma will occasionally make comments about wishing they could be a fly on the wall. It's like, I'm not. Stop it. We're done with him. He's gone. Leave it at that. Like my aunt likes to say, if you kick a bag of shit. Yeah. We don't need that. So it's gone. It's over. Right. But I feel like now that they're looking at puppies, like they're talking, my dad's been all disappointed. Of course he's disappointed. His dog is gone. His dog was the one that died. The other dog they have, what's supposed to be my mom's dog, has been begging for his attention, but it's like somehow she's not good enough for him. Like, he spends a lot of time with her, but it's still not his dog. So it's like, we still have 4 dogs in this house right now. Please don't do this. So I'm really hoping, I know they were filling out an application yesterday. I'm really hoping that I'm able to get out of that situation before the puppy comes in, because I do not want the responsibility of having to in any way train or do anything for their dog, right? I have 3 of my own. And I'm working, like, currently I have 2 more that I'm borrowing while they're gone. And well, I haven't seen the puppy since I left there this week, or left her over there this week, but I will. um, yeah, I don't know. And Saturday, 2/22, is Gidget's birthday, but also my cousin's baby shower. And my mom mentioned it last night, and it's like, I think she expects that I'm supposed to get all excited for it, and I really am just, oh boy, let's go hang out with some family. Cool. And I guess they're doing an open one or whatever, and basically it's not just for the women in the family, but also the, spouses, and I don't think that's relevant for our side per se. I think that's more her husband can be there, and then all of his sisters' husbands and his dad and like that kind of whatever. It's still not going to be a huge thing, but it's still, yay. Cool. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of people, but whatever. And I think my mom mentioned that the youngest sister said not to worry about sending her daughter the invitation. She would just let her know, and then forgot to let her know until this week, apparently. So if she's there, then I'll have one person that I can, I'll talk to other people, but I feel like one that's at least more in alignment with my headspace. My mom's cousin's wife that comes to all those things, she's fabulous. And she's like, I think, least attached to the family side of like our drama family side. She's a little further away from it, so she's like one of the more normal people. And yeah, I'll probably hang out with her, but of course my grandma will probably hang out with her. My grandma's not normal. She's very much into that toxic patterns and bullshit. And like as soon as I got back last night, my mom said something about my grandma. And I said, it was something about my grandma being all over the place. I said, my grandma's always been all over the place. And she's like, yeah, but it's even worse now that her husband's died and she has to come up with this whole new way of existing. It's like, that is why she wanted to go, so she could pull right back into that bullshit. And she's really not going to be happy with when she says it at just the right time. And I followed up with, he's finally dead. Thank God for that. I am okay with that. Y'all should be too. But yeah, anyway, dogs got her all wound up now because I got all excited, and I'm kind of hungry, and this is pushing long again. I mean, it's already long. Anyway, I'm cutting out. So as always, I appreciate you. Until the next time, see ya.